intended map user or clock user. What is the purpose of the map or clock?
What is happening with the map or the clock is up for question.
What is being taken for granted if and when you use the map or clock? What temporal landscape does the map or clock embody?
What year was it made? Does it still stand the test of time? What has changed? What has remained?
Where are you in time when you use the map or the clock? What are the intersecting and conflicting temporalities that are pulled into your now or your present when using the map or the clock? Imagine the boundaries. Imagine the contested boundaries that the map or the clock contains, and how can they be remapped or redrawn or re-envisioned to be more equitable in time and space.
What unspoken agreements, what understandings, what contracts, what social constructs, what negotiations are embedded in the map or the clock?
And finally, once we dismantle the master's clock, what clocks or timekeeping practices will take its place? What will remain? What already exists that we could learn from? What can we create? Early 13th century, a watcher, an onlooker from old French white. Compare old high Germany Walter, German watch, a watchman. From late 14th century, an ambush, a trap, to lie in wait. From 1855, time occupied and waiting. 1873, an act of waiting. Civic employee responsible for signaling the hour or an alarm by sounding a trumpet. Juneteenth is widely celebrated as Freedom's Day. June 19th, 1865 2.5 years prior, on January 1st, 1863, by the so-called Emancipation Proclamation. Lincoln originally issued the proclamation on September 22nd, 1862, and signed it on December 18th with a declaration that 3/4 of enslaved Africans in the Confederate States were forever free as of January 1st, 1863, with the exception of some 800,000 enslaved Africans across 4 slave-holding states that declared loyalty to the Union. Freeing some of the slaves is a bargaining chip for states engaged in rebellion against the Union. December 31st began watch night services as enslaved and liberated Africans and white abolitionists watched the master's clock at watch meetings and watch parties in sanctuary spaces, waiting for the new year to arrive, and with it, confirmation by newspaper or word of mouth that Lincoln's proclamation had been implemented. With the Emancipation Proclamation going into effect, this makes January 1st, 1863, the first documented celebration or observation of an Emancipation Day, a Liberation Day, a Freedom Day 0. But of course, only for some. Which brings us back to this day on June 19th, 1865 in Galveston, Texas, when General Granger and troops arrived to bring news that the Civil War was over and that the slaves were in fact free and had been for 2 years. Many slavers had moved their plantations to Texas during the Civil War because no major battles had touched Texas. They waged an active campaign to ensure that their captives were not able to access freedom. Facticity means a thing can only take on the feature of being a fact, of being real, of being true, of being a part of reality when it has been pinpointed to the linear timeline and assigned a date. Anything that cannot be pinpointed to a date on the calendar and the time on the clock is not considered real, is not considered fact. It's not considered to have happened. The word derives from Latin factum, an event, an occurrence, a deed, an achievement. In medieval Latin, a state, a condition, a circumstance. And from the 1630s, a fact is a thing known to be true and something that has actually occurred. In order for freedom to become fact by definition, a measurement had to be made, a date and a time assigned that would mark it upon the Western timeline. Our freedom from bondage and white terrorism via slavery was declared in a written document, but still we had to wait for it. We had to wait for the war to end, wait for the master's clock to stroke midnight on January 1st, wait for Lincoln to sign a proclamation, wait for the information to travel, wait for the sun to rise on June 19th, 1863. Wait to escape. Wait for General Granger to Louisiana, march upon Galveston with troops. General Order Number 3 before liberation could become fact, and before freedom could become truth. Waiting time is complicated for us. It's complicated for black people. We continuously make time bend and time mutations that allow us to escape points on the Western timeline as a means of survival. And maybe we will never know if and when we are collectively liberated. We get pulled into one portal and out of another. What does it mean to be liberated? To be pulled out of the portal of slavery only to be pulled back in by indentured servitude, or redlining, or forced sterilization, or police murder, or while giving birth, or while sleeping, or while playing, or while protesting, or wow. To load with weight. 1747, figuratively of the mind from 1640s. Weight. Old English geweight, meaning weight, weight. Downward force of a body, heaviness, burden, from late 14th century. For certain communities, families, individuals, identities, pandemic time is not new. We are always in a time of crisis, and many of us live with an ever sense of urgency, an anxiety, a gravity, a waiting time that ties us down to the Western timeline. World-changing decisions are made every day on this timeline that permanently impact black people's lives, our health, our job prospects, our futures, cutting our timeline short. And many of us experience time as nonlinear, interconnected, ever aware of the ever-present and overlapping nature of 1619, 1919, 1968, 2019, 1964, 16, 19, 1921, 2020, 2014, 1919. These years plotted onto the standard timeline will reflect a society designed to systematically leave black families and other marginalized people behind. How are we marking the interpenetration of times of black massacres and black resistance? How do we recover and count everybody under constant threat of death and displacement, occupied with planning how to survive the next day, the next week, the next month? When can we plan and dream about our futures without having to wait for it? It's the wind. It's the winds. The wind. The waiting. The waiting on you.
To wait. Old English waited. To go forward. To proceed. To move. To strive. To advance. Wade across. Specifically to walk into water. To walk through water. To go into battle. To wade in the water. To wait. To wade in the water. To wade, to go forward, to proceed, to move, to strive, to advance, to wade in the water. To walk into or through the water. To wade. Wade in the water is a Negro spiritual. It contains codes. It contains symbols. It contains geographic directions. It was one of the many songs that Harriet Tubman would sing when transporting liberation seekers on the Underground Railroad. Wade in the water meant to get off the path. Wade in the water. It meant to wait in the water in order to cover one's scent from bloodhounds. Traditional European spatial temporal consciousness saw time as flow and inevitability. The word time itself derives from the word tide, which means to cut up, to divide, to rise, to flood, as in a time of high water. This context of water as time further affirms wade in the water as a technology to hack the European time stream. Wading in the water was an act in the war for liberation that created a temporary time portal, a voice of protection. To wade in the water meant to wait, to stop, to rest into the current, to submerge the masters of law.
Well, a few days later, we were waking up.
It was a revolutionary act
within a revolutionary act of escape.
I believe it was on Saturday evening. That was one of my biggest times that I had out in the freeway.
To stop. To post.
Started singing. Just got on my mind and I just started humming to myself. Just continued. Well, a few days later.
And what does it mean for us to wade in the water right now?
Thing about going on. I believe it was on Saturday evening. And that was one of my biggest times that I had out in the freeway on a Saturday evening. Just started singing. Just got on my mind and I just started humming to myself. I'm going home. Well, a few days later, running like hell, Lord, Lord, running like hell, running like hell, Lord, Lord, running like hell.
Away to it. Away to it. Ancestors returning again. Away to it. This time only to themselves. Away to it. See, this don't belong to you. This secret from before. This hidden for the future of quantum events. Charting the memory, the journey, the way out, quantum mapping the truth under the church. Time is a hymn, an offering of freedom, an offering for freedom. This is an offering for freedom. For freedom. An offering for freedom. We are coming home. Always returning home to a future. All ours. All ours.
Just cry, brother, come home, Lord, brother, come home.
Housing Authority says they may have found a time capsule buried in the ground. The CEO of the authority, June Parker, says they discovered a box that looks like a safe underground by a flagpole outside of the services building. She says the box could be empty, but it could also be some type of time capsule. The Housing Authority will open the box Monday at 4 p.m. to reveal what is inside. 2017, a mysterious safe with time capsule-like contents was discovered beneath the grounds of a public housing site owned by Tyndall Heights. Several others have been unearthed at the sites of public housing projects. A time capsule dating back to 1925 was found at the site of a future affordable housing project in Maryland. Another dating back to 1937 was unearthed during the demolition of the public housing complex in Toledo, Ohio. Another time capsule from 1941 was discovered at the blighted Charter Oak Terrace public housing site that came tumbling down in Hartford, Connecticut. A time capsule from 1909 was found at the Garfield Park Lofts in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Quantum time capsules are temporal technologies for oppressed black and brown people, isolated and local, progressive, linear, fatalistic time ghettos that deny them access to temporal dimensions of the past and the future. Quantum time capsules can send messages and objects to any point in the past or the future, communicating with both ancestors and future generations. They elude linear space-time and trouble our notions of past, present, future, history, and progress.
Our death, like our birth, means something. A way to it. Preparing a body all ours. Ancestors returning again. This time only to themselves.
The ultimate political body. The mind-body split. The dualism that persists into present times. The reason why classical and quantum physics cannot be reconciled. Science is the ultimate political body. The mind-body splits, the dualism that persists into present times. Science is the ultimate political body. The mind-body split, the dualism that persists into present times. Blinded by its own so-called enlightenment, and thusly setting light and dark as opposites, cascading. Science is the ultimate political body. The mind-body split. The dualism that persists into present times, the reason why classical physics and quantum physics can't be reconciled. Blinded by its own so-called enlightenment, thusly setting light and dark as opposites, eternally at odds. Cannot coexist. Science is really the result of a negotiation. Laws we uphold and we claim to be true for the entire universe were written and shaped by the hands of a privileged few. Recall the memory, then get inside of the memory to actually re-experience it. Not just a flash or an image, but build up the scene of the memory like a play set and step out onto the stage. Pay particular attention to the thoughts that you have and order them in terms of their relationship to the present, the future, or the past. Next, as you categorize your thoughts, notice where you place the future thoughts, notice where you place the past thoughts, and where you place the present thoughts. Are the past thoughts behind you and the present thoughts in front of you? Now, take a specific thought or memory from either one of those categories and reverse the direction. If it's a past thought, for example, reverse the thought so that you now see it as in front of you. For a thought about the future, reverse it so that it's now behind you. Now take one of the future thoughts that you have reversed and build up a memory of it. Place your consciousness inside the memory to re-experience it. Then take one of your past thoughts or memories, reverse it, walk into it as if it's unfamiliar, as if you're experiencing the memory for the very first time. Thank you for Black Quantum Futurism.